Social protection measures such as cash transfers, food subsidies and pensions are really important for the most vulnerable members of our society. People that can't work because they're disabled or because they're sick, people who maybe have lost their job for some reason. But how can we pay for social protection measures for people that really need help?
Well, there is usually two ways of financing social protection. The first way, let's call it Bismarckian way, where the finance and social protection rely on the contribution of the workers. So workers that are in the labor market, that have access to labor market, they can work and contribute a part of their wage to social protection to help other people that have lost their income for any reason, because maybe they are sick or they have lost their job or any other reason. The second way of finance and social protection is Beveridgean way. In this kind of social protection, the system is financed by taxes. So the government use taxes to finance social protection and cover all the needy population. However, we can use a mixed way of financing social protection, but we don't worry a lot about the sustainability of social protection system, because social protection system is not made to be sustainable. The priority of social protection system is not to be sustainable, but its priority is to take care of this population who is in need or who is not in the labor market. Because government need to understand that social protection is a social investment, because when we invest in people, in human capital, in the future we will have well-educated population, healthy population, and very active population, so that this population, government will rely on it to develop the country and never have problems of poverty or disability or any other social problem.
So we must think about it as an investment in human capital.
Yes, social protection, you must look at it as an investment and not an expenditure without any feedback. When we spend for poor people, for the population, we will have a feedback in the future. If we spend in education, we will have educated population. If we spend in active labor market policies, for example, we will have more productive people. If we cover our workers against all social risk, they will be more productive in their work, so they will provide more income to the government, and they will pay more taxes in the future. So this is how we should conceive social protection, not only expenditures or passive policies.
Thank you very much, Walid.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Social protection measures for the poor are really important to stop them from falling into poverty, such as pensions and cash transfers and food subsidies. But how can we pay for measures like those?
Okay, so basically based on our study about physical space in MENA countries, we found out that some countries have low percentage of tax revenues as percentage of GDP, and there is a room to increase tax revenues through increasing taxes. And also other countries, although they have a high percentage of tax revenues as GDP, but still there is a room to increase equity and to improve the progressive taxation system in some MENA countries. And this is like one option to do it through, for example, revenues. Also, we can think about Zakat fund. It could be one of the options for countries to increase the revenues and have like a formal state managed system in order to collect Zakat. And also another option maybe could be related to, for example, reprogramming or evaluating the items of expenditures and the budget allocated to each program, and then trying to see or to improve the efficiency by, as I mentioned, doing public expenditure study, for example, and see the distributional impact of different programs. And by this way, they can allocate fund from inefficient programs to more efficient programs.
I see, thank you. And if you were going to make recommendations to the government in Egypt about how it could increase its fiscal space, what would some of the priorities be?
Okay, so one of the priority will be to look at the tax reform, and Egypt had been already undertaking a lot of progress in this. For example, we introduced the value-added taxes recently in 2016 and 2017. However, we still have a lot of exempted products, and we still need to improve our tax collection system, try to make more firms contribute to the tax system, because we have a large informal sector, so maybe you can increase the formality of the sector in order to contribute more to the tax revenues.
Thank you very much, Dr. Imane.
Thank you so much.
Social protection measures for the poor are really important, such as pensions and cash transfers. But how can we pay for such measures?
What I presented yesterday was about cash wakf, which is basically what has normally been referred to as a waqf, so an endowment, but instead of immovable property such as land or a house or a building, we use cash, so movable property in this case. It can be a quite beneficial mean for social protection, because especially if it's fully entrusted by an Islamic bank, it could be accountable, it could be monitored by the bank, and each donor can decide on which projects to contribute eventually. And this money could be easily redistributed, of course not for profit reasons, but it can be redistributed to create a social welfare program other than investment in human capital also.
Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you very much. Thank you.